Hold on to your hats, ladies and gents, because today we're going to be taking a look at a webcam that costs less than your coffee. If you can deprive yourself of your caramel macchiato venti slim extra frappuccino wapper, then you can pick one of these bad boys up from Poundland for only £3 in the UK. Because this is such a premium product, I'm going to take my time and unbox this very carefully. Taking the webcam out of the box, you'll find that it's wrapped up nicely in a little styrofoam bag, adding to this premium unboxing experience. It does, however, come with one of these really satisfying peels. The company was even kind enough to do half of it for you. The webcam itself actually feels pretty decent considering the price. What's strange, however, is I actually found this webcam being sold by the manufacturer on Amazon for 30 quid. So either I've been blessed by the gods or this webcam's about as satisfying as a wet sock. So this thing is obviously inspired by the Logitech C922 or the C920, and it looks pretty much the same, to be honest. If you're looking at it from a bit of a distance, you wouldn't really be able to tell that it's like a knockoff cheap kind of brand, but like build quality is actually pretty nice, to be honest. You wouldn't be able to tell that this thing was 3 quid, but what I really love is that there's actually a lot of thought going into the design. So this hinge rotates all the way around, so you can mount it on a bunch of different surfaces, and it actually kind of locks onto place. It's very sturdy, so you could mount it to have a top-down view from a tripod or something like that, and it would stay there. This thing is solid. The head actually rotates like this, which is pretty cool, so it gives you a little bit more of an ergonomic option, I suppose. So let's plug it in and test it. Just bear in mind at the moment I'm using expensive gear. As we transition, it's going to look a little bit weird at first, but we'll see if we can tweak things and make it look a little bit better. In we go. Okay, so I've actually skipped a couple of days because I was having some issues that I'll talk to you about in a second, but in terms of quality, not half as bad as I thought it was going to be. Like, this is obviously not going to be the same level as my main camera because this is obviously a lot more expensive. But if you were getting this to record a couple of podcasts, use it as a second camera while you're streaming, or even to use in a situation like this where you're just recording your desktop, maybe you're doing a bit of gameplay or a tutorial and you want a face cam, this works perfectly fine. Even when you switch back to the main camera, if you're this size, you honestly can't tell that much of a difference. It is worth noting that this video that you're watching now should be in 1080p, which means that the webcam is being stretched out because the webcam can only record at 720. Realistically, the size should look something like this. It's also worth noting that when you first plug the camera in, it's not going to look like this. In pretty much every single software, from Zoom to OBS, you can customize how the camera looks and the exposure, things like that. This is actually the default setting, which I found weird because there's already bright lights and things like that. I don't know why it tries to overexpose. But when you're inside of a software like OBS, you can just come into the device properties, configure video, and then you can actually just change some of these settings straight away so we can drop the exposure. Typically with webcams, the lower the exposure you go, the smoother video you have. So you see now my hand is moving and it's got nice little motion, whereas if we put the exposure up, it gets really jittery and it just doesn't look that good. So for me, I'll bring the exposure down, tweak the gamma a little bit, disable automatic white balance, and probably put that to a bit more of a cooler tone. And we'll keep the sharpness at around about 25 because it does look incredibly soft, like so, when you don't have that added sharpness. As you can see, we'll bring it up, and that looks a little bit better. And of course, this webcam has a microphone. It's not really up to scratch, but at the moment I'm using my Samsung CO1U. Switch over to the webcam, and this is what the audio sounds like. It's not great. There's a lot of background noise. You can probably hear my dog barking outside. Just grab yourself a little 60-pound microphone like this, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so final impressions of the webcam. Is it good? For 3 quid, absolutely. If you're just starting out making YouTube videos and you're going to use it as a little overlay, cool. For a full screen thing, maybe like Zoom calls or something, you could probably do better, but again, it's £3. This is less than the price of a coffee. For 10 quid, you could get 3 extra cameras set up and use them as security cameras or something if you really wanted to. As long as you have a microphone that makes up for that weird audio that you get with the webcam, I honestly don't see any issue with using the webcam on a day-to-day basis. Originally, I just wanted to get this to review it because it was so cheap, but honestly, I think I'm gonna keep it for the sake of having a second camera set up. During my stream, I can switch over to a keyboard shot, I could do a top-down view review, point it at my pets if I really wanted to. It's definitely worth £3. I don't know why they're selling on Amazon for 30. I really can't work that out, but if you live in the UK, go to Poundland, they sell these things there. It is worth noting the issue I was having with the camera is I had it plugged into a USB hub. That's the same USB hub that my microphone was going through, and maybe I just need a better USB hub, but I was getting some crazy interference. If I still have some footage, I'll include it. Now, nothing changes, it's just a permanent interference. So if you're using a USB hub, just bear in mind you'll either want a powered one or just stick it in a different USB socket. It's not a big deal, but it's worth bearing in mind. Okay, that's all for now, but if you want me to review some more cheap tech, let me know. I'm more than happy to do it. There is actually a review for the Elgato Stream Deck, which is a really cool device for streamers and content creators. It is a lot more expensive than the webcam, but it is worth every single penny. Drop a sub for more videos like this. I love your faces. I'll catch you in the next one.